I'm Linda Sandhu. Welcome to the Cape Cod Community Media Center Gallery. I'm here with December Artist of the Month, Diane Jennings. Diana, welcome.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
I'm going to have you introduce yourself to the audience, talk a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and then we'll get into your art.
All right. Well, thank you. My name's Diane Jennings. I was born on the Cape back in the last century. And I have lived on the Cape for large chunks of my life. I graduated from Barnstable High School.
Nice.
Again, back in the last century. And went on to college at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. I eventually took a PhD there in neuroscience. And that started a life mostly of working with scientists, science students, even NASA. I was fortunate to work for NASA for about 8 years, actually here on the Cape at the Marine Biological Laboratory.
Oh, neat.
So the common themes of my professional life have been technology, outreach, communicating with people about the kinds of work that the people I worked with were doing. And generally being around people who are very creative in a lot of ways. That's been my professional history. Now I'm at Bridgewater State University, where I direct regional partnerships, focusing again on that outreach role, and also in looking for ways for the university to partner in the communities around southeastern Massachusetts.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great place to be. Bridgewater's moving very, very fast.
Yes.
We're investing a lot in science and technology right now, as well as, you know, looking to the Cape as a potential future campus.
Which I know everybody on the Cape is excited about, so we all hope that comes true.
So do I.
Good. All right, let's take a leap now over to the art world. When did you become interested in art?
When I was in high school, I thought I was going to be an art therapist, and I started doing, you know, art classes, painting and whatnot, and very quickly became cowed by the level of talent that was around me. The Cape then is now is a place that creates artists.
Absolutely.
And, there were actually a number of successful artists that came out of the school in the time that I was there, including Scott Nash, who along with his wife and Nancy Gibson do a lot with children's books.
Sure, yeah.
So with that kind of talent around, it was easy for somebody who was a nerd like me to focus on what she knew better, which in my case turned out to be neuroscience. I think I mentioned my PhD is in neuroscience. Yeah. So I moved away from the art and into the brain, and stayed there for a very long time. But from time to time I would come out and do a sketch or little drawings or a watercolor, and I missed it. And one of the benefits about middle age is that you start not caring.
Yes, that's true.
And so I started not really caring about what others thought about my painting. I wanted to paint.
Yes.
And I drew inspiration from painters like Georgia O'Keeffe, for example, and others like Rothko and Klimt, and even a few artists that I see around here, and started painting quite a lot in the last couple of years.
That's wonderful.
And I have a lot of fun with it.
And you're very good at it. You're very good at it. Well, we're excited because this is your first official gallery opening.
Yes, it is.
That's huge.
It's terrifying.
I'm so proud of you. I
you.
really am. We've become friends. When did we meet? Like last year, you came in for something.
Yeah, I think it might have been fall 2012.
Yeah. And you said, well, I'm kind of an artist. And I said, I am signing you up.
Yes.
And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
Really, really am. Your art is beautiful. And so let's get talking about it. What mediums do you use, and how did you decide to use those mediums?
Well, I do a little watercolor. I haven't brought any of those with me today. But I use primarily acrylic. And that's because I'm still learning, and acrylic can be very forgiving. It's inexpensive, frankly. It dries quickly, which can be handy
Yes.
if you need to paint over,
That's
which
right.
I usually do. So I use acrylic. I'd love one day to learn how to properly use oils. I've never been trained in using them, and I think that it's a medium that you really need to have some kind of education in. So I have them in my house, and I have the thinners, and I look at them, but I haven't had the courage yet to start painting in oil. I don't know what that'll feel like. So also, acrylic offers something that I don't think you see in oil paints, and that is, I still love metallic paints.
Yes.
I use them everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's part of my growing up, I guess, that I have to do. I'm not the only artist around who likes to use them. I was inspired when an artist friend brought me to see the studio of Sarah Hall in Hyannis.
Yes.
And Sarah is an exuberant painter.
Yes.
Exuberant. And she even, you know, there's a seascape with glitter on
I know,
it, you
I
know?
know.
And that just, I left that studio so inspired to do whatever I wanted to do.
She inspires so many people.
Yeah.
She is just a phenomenal person, because she lets you in, and all of a sudden you're like, I think I could do this too.
Wow, your whole nervous system just it's flipped on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a great story. I hope she knows that.
I don't know if she knows. You know, I'm just another one of the, you know, the
thousands of
slack
people.
jawed people that go, wow, in her studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think she's amazing, and her stuff gave me the courage to play.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, I noticed when you were talking to me, you were talking about a painting over my shoulder. So let's kind of talk about these two. They're a little bit different. They're similar. This one, you obviously kept a theme going. Let's talk about the top one to start with.
I'm trying to remember which storm it was now. It was during one of our storms over the last couple of years. And the energy that I felt in the air around me drove me to just start playing with one color, one palette. I love to paint round, and I love curves, and that's what was behind that one. The one below, yeah, there's a little bit of a riff on Van Gogh there. I wanted to see how it felt to paint like that. And
you got your metallic paint in there.
I got my metallic paint in there. And the other thing that I like to do is play with gesso or other modeling pastes. And again, there's a whole bunch of those sort of tools when you're painting in acrylic.
Right.
And I love to build up layers and just see where it takes me to do the texture and the underpainting. So both of those were experiments using different, I hate to call them techniques, because that says a level of education that I just don't have. But
no, you cut yourself way too short. You're amazing, and you're creating your own techniques, which is what a true artist does.
Thank you.
You just create the techniques you like, and then they're your techniques. So
thanks.
Give yourself more credit. But no, this is beautiful. This I really like a lot. And then let's go to this one here, because this is different than the other ones.
Yes.
When you brought this in today, I was like, wow, whose is that? Where did that come from? And I love it. I love it. This is a view that I look at a lot. Tell us about this painting and why, to me, it's so different than your other works that I've seen so far.
Well, let's see. It must have been a couple of years ago now. We had one of those blue moons that was really huge. And because I'm a real denizen of social media, people started posting lots of pictures of the moon as it was rising around the Cape and how big it was. And so I just wanted to play with the roundness. I wanted to play with bringing energy down, because I tend to throw a lot of paint, and I love that. But I tried to calm it down and to feel what textures and colors I would need to create that more serene feeling. And that's what drove to this one. This one required me to be somewhat more realistic, and but I still got my metallic paint.
You got your metallic paint
and a little glitter.
And I'm noticing it in different spots, which I love, and I didn't notice it before.
This one's called "If You Must Love, Love the Moon." It's actually after a Middle Eastern proverb: "If you must steal, steal a camel. And if you love the moon. You just do it big.
That's
So
nice.
that's what this painting's about.
Oh, I love that. I really love that. I think you did a great job on that one.
Thank
That's
you.
very nice. Now, the one behind you.
I had, I get my inspiration from some strange things, and this one was inspired by something I picked up at a yard sale that I really enjoyed. It was actually a metal tile that had been painted, and what I liked about that tile was how colors. It was a very simple shape with colors brought in and out of the main shape, and so I started playing with it, and it evolved as I was painting it. And
what's the title of this one?
this one's called River. But again, it was the rounds, and you know, I'm inspired by the female form, and there's a bit of that going on in here as well as there is in a painting down here. So that's where that came from. And again, the metallic paint. I will outgrow it, but
I love
not
it.
today.
Oh no, yeah, keep it going. Tell me, just so the audience can have an understanding. You wake up in the morning, you put a blank canvas on your easel. Do you go visit it a lot? Do you just sit down and do a project? Tell us a little bit about your process.
If I won the lottery tomorrow, I would probably have more of a process. But what I do is I leave an easel up. There's always an easel up. And for me, as I go through things in the day, I see something and go, oh, I want to paint that, or I want to take that as an idea. And sometimes I remember to write them down in a sketchbook, or sketch them out quickly. Sometimes I'll see photographs on Facebook, you know, like I'm working on one from a picture you posted. But I leave it there. And the other thing I do is that my paintings are all hanging in my house, or not all of them, but a lot of them. And it started a conversation. I remember when I first started putting up my own work in the house, I was painting things because I felt like I needed to use particular colors and energies. And once I made my painting, and I felt it was good, that I liked it, I would hang it up on the wall, and whatever it was that inspired me to put those colors on canvas feeds me throughout the day in my house. And it's a conversation about who I am, and that's part of my process. I don't know. I would imagine most painters hang their own work, but it does start a little conversation that's always going in your brain.
Right, absolutely.
And so,
well, I think they do, and I think you have to live with your work.
Right.
Like I know of an artist who's somewhat famous, and he does great big, you know, huge wall-sized art, and he'll hang it in his house, and he says he has to live with it before he can have somebody else live with it. And so he has to always have that connection, he always says, because otherwise you're just doing it and passing it off, and it doesn't mean it. It has to have meaning before you can let it go. And I thought that was an interesting way of thinking about your art.
Yeah. I am a little nervous about this coming month because my paintings will be hanging somewhere else.
That's
true. So I've been carefully screening the ones that haven't been up on the walls to interrogate them to find out which ones are worthy to hang and keep me company while the others are hanging here.
Oh, and good point. Good point. We're taking down your house and bringing it here. Well, it's the holiday season, so you can just put up a whole bunch of holiday stuff.
Honestly, that was part of the reassurance. I was like, well, I'll put up Christmas things.
Yeah, have lights everywhere.
Yeah, and I'll be going away on, you know, a vacation, so okay.
Good for you.
All right, we'll make it through December.
That's a very good point. Yeah. So let's talk about these pictures down here. I think we start with what's the title of this one over here by you?
It doesn't really have a title.
Okay.
But that is inspired by my visit to Sarah Hall's, and she uses a lot of underpainting.
Yes.
And I had watched her teaching some students while I was visiting her studio, and watching how she had them underpaint and then start to work over that.
And
the other
explain to the audience, I'm going to interrupt you, just explain to the audience just briefly what underpainting is and how one would do that. Because these shows really surprisingly do inspire a lot of people to say, you know what, I can do this.
All right.
So what is underpainting in your mind and how do you do it?
The way I do it, and there are a lot of ways to do underpainting, I'm sure, but the way this one was done was that one block color, in this case a lime green, was painted on and then rubbed off.
Okay.
And then I continued to, as it dried, again, because acrylic dries so quickly, I could put other coats on and wipe them off.
Of the same color or different
well, actually,
colors?
in this case, I used 3 different colors.
Okay.
And then went over them. Sarah's style is very graphic, so I had fun with this one, and I drew a bottom. and then
you can say it. You can say it.
and then painted over. Once everything had dried, started pulling out the highlights and the different colors, and sometimes rubbing it on and off, and other times leaving the paint as it was. The other thing she does is she, and which I did in that painting, she uses paint in tubes as sort of an exclamation point, or it creates energy. So I took liquid paint that was in tubes and with pointed tips in order to draw around the edges to create a little bit more energy and fun.
That's
it's fun.
Great. Yeah. It really is. There's no better therapy than this. See, you're going back to your high school days.
Yes, our therapy, a practice of one.
That's right. Well, you don't know. You don't know. Okay, so the middle painting on the little easel there.
Okay, there's a Japanese painter named Hiroshi Matsumoto, and I discovered him on Facebook. See, there's hope for Facebook. It could be a creative place. And every day, Mr. Matsumoto posts a 9-inch by 9-inch painting, a different one. And each one of them has the day's date. And I don't know what his philosophy is, but to me they are little poems, almost haiku, because they're small.
Right.
And color is an expressive language.
Oh, absolutely.
And he uses both color and texture. So in this one, and it has a mate that's not here today, but will be hanging with it when the show starts. I just looked at the two as being verses of a poem and tried to use colors and textures that I liked. And I think I'll be exploring that more.
Yeah, great idea too.
It's fun.
Phrase of the day or painting of the day.
Yeah. One thing I haven't mentioned, it's not so much in these paintings, and there's a little bit of it in that one, is I trained as a biologist, and I find giving paintings structures that look almost cellular.
Sure.
I find that just is something I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So in this one,
but it's also something you know so well, so maybe it just comes across anyway, right?
Yeah. So I have a few paintings that have little globules in them that feel to me cellular in nature, looking at those fundamental building blocks.
So they really are alive. They're alive.
Yeah, they are alive. Yeah.
And this last one here, which I can actually hold up so you can see which one I'm talking about.
This is Georgia O'Keeffe. This one started with some watercolors that were studies of some Georgia O'Keeffe sunsets over water, and this is an example of the things I do that are more graphic in nature, like the bud. And this is oil, and it's just borrowing those lovely round shapes that I love so much. And that's the nature of that.
And you kept your metallic in there, which I love.
Oh yeah.
I think that's so great. Where do you get your art supplies, and where do you go to? Do you just everywhere you see them?
Primarily at this point, I go to places like A.C. Moore and Michael's.
Just anywhere you happen to be. They're
inexpensive. I know I'm going to get to a point where I will start investing more in the materials.
Yeah.
It's just, I still see myself as a learning painter.
Yeah.
So I haven't had the courage yet to start putting out real money for
Right.
real good
Oh,
supplies.
sure. Well, and it's never
Yeah.
ending too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so is your work going to be for sale at the gallery this month?
Some of it will.
Okay, good, 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 good. So people
Yeah.
can come in and great holiday gifts.
That's right. Certainly unique.
Oh, I think they're wonderful. I think they're wonderful. So let's flash forward 5 years from now. Where do you see your
Yeah.
art?
Oh,
5 months from now. Maybe I should shorten it up a little bit.
well, I hope I want to be doing art.
Yeah.
I need to do it more. And what do I want to be saying with it? Probably working in bigger canvases.
Uh-huh.
I've got a few that are larger that I'm going to bring with me. When you have a big canvas, there's that terror of, oh my God, how am I going to fill this? That when I
Sure.
started this one, it was actually the biggest one I had done.
Oh, really?
At that point.
Wow.
So probably larger, and gosh, I hope they'll be better, and I don't know what better is going to mean.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah, I
but
want to
don't
keep
lose
growing.
your wonderful techniques and your metallics and all
The
that.
capacity to play.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you ever wish or want to take an art class?
I do.
You
I
do?
Yeah, particularly for oils.
Yeah.
I'd like to learn more about how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I hope that people will contact me and give me constructive criticism, because this will be the first time my paintings have ever been out anywhere, and I'd value what people have to say.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's all good. And boy, when we put the invitation out, just the write-ups of people and your character, everybody loves you, so they're going to love your art. That's going to.
So.
They will.
I
They
hope
will.
so.
It's just wonderful. I know you've got family support. Your daughter Allison, who's here supporting you, and will be at the opening, which is the first Monday of December. But people can always contact you. You'll leave a contact message.
Yes. Yeah.
And I cannot thank you enough
Thank
for
you
being
for this.
so brave and for sharing your art with us, because it really is beautiful. It really is. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm Linda Sandhu. Thank you for joining us. Come see Diana's work the month of December. Have a great day.